all that pressure combined for being a student is like immense. Being Black on top of that, it's like another, I wouldn't say burden, but it's another set of pressures that other students don't have to face.
Hey y'all, it's Jordan or JorWish and welcome to or back to my channel. Today's video is a little different. I'm going to be bringing you all some of my friends from UCLA and we're just going to be talking about what it's like to be Black and go to UCLA. This video is pretty long, so grab a snack, sit down, and chill with us. And this is just dedicated to all the Bruins who unfortunately didn't get the traditional Admit Weekend experience. We kind of wanted to just tell you all as much as we could about it. If you have any more questions, definitely leave them down below and we'll be happy to answer them. And congratulations to all the Bruins that got in this year. Okay, so first, thank you all so much for doing this video. YouTube, meet my friends. And we're just gonna be talking to you all about, what it's like to be Black and go to UCLA. So first, why doesn't everyone introduce themselves and just say your name, where you're from, your major, hometown, and what year you are at UCLA?
Hi, I'm Jordan. I'm a third year. My major, I double major in communications and African American studies with a minor in theater. And I am from Los Angeles, California.
What's up, y'all? My name is Trent. I'm a fourth year political science, African American studies double major, and I'm from Watts, California.
My name is Alexandria Davis. I'm a fourth year political science and studies double major, and I'm from Inglewood, California.
What's good, y'all? I'm Jeremy Kirksey. I'm a third year biology major with a minor in African American studies, and I'm from Fontana, California.
What's up, y'all? My name's Nate. I'm a third year neuroscience major, and I am from Rialto, California.
Okay, hey y'all, my name is Jordan or JorWish. Okay, I'm from Washington, D.C. I'm a fourth year at UCLA, so I'm graduating soon. And my major is political science. So, why did you all choose UCLA and what schools were you choosing between?
When I was in schools, I was deciding between NYU, Berkeley, UCLA. First of all, I'm from Los Angeles. So I've been on UCLA's campus often. I had done programs there. I had just been there on field trips a lot, so I was very familiar with it. I also received full scholarships to go to all these schools, but I think I had just a gravitation towards UCLA. I think especially because my sister went there, and I just wanted to be close to home.
When I was deciding where to go to college, I got accepted to all four of the UCs I applied to, but the two I was really deciding between was UC Berkeley and UCLA. I actually visited both campuses as well, and it really came down to wanting to be closer to home, wanting to be in the more vicinity of the city I knew. I knew Los Angeles. Took a field trip to UCLA when I was a middle schooler. So at the end of the day, I just chose this campus just felt right for me and just felt like I was still in my city.
Yeah, kind of on a similar tip. My top three choices came down to about MIT, UCLA, and Berkeley, and then MIT kind of fell out the running because of some admission stuff. And so I was kind of deciding between UCLA and Berkeley. What really drove the factors, visiting both campuses, I was very torn. I waited till the last day, May 1st, make a decision, have this little setup and everything. It was kind of cute. What really drove me to coming to UCLA was every time I stepped foot on UCLA's campus, I had this sense of purpose and belonging. It was okay, you get to a place and you look around, it's okay, this could be my life. It felt like it's something inside of me was calling me to be a Bruin. As corny as that sounds, but every time I stepped on that campus, I felt this sense of empowerment, entitlement. I love the vibe. Everybody was super nice. It's LA. It's one of the greatest cities on the face of the planet. So why not?
I guess I'll go next. I got accepted to a lot of the UCs and I got accepted to a couple HBCUs. It's hard to just say why I chose UCLA because I still to this day don't know why. My experiences was not anything near like Nate's. I kind of didn't want to go to UCLA, and that's where I got most of my scholarship money from. So out of all the schools, UCLA offers me more money. I wish I had the experience you had, Nate, but I felt like I didn't want to go there, but it's just a lot of pressure. Everybody thought this was the fit for me. So I was just okay, I'll just go. And then I really wanted to go to HBCU because I had a scholarship to swim, so I was trying to swim. And everybody's just I really think UCLA is the best place to go. You have more money, you'll be home. So yeah, I don't really know exactly why I chose UCLA. I still struggle finding my purpose at UCLA, but I ended up choosing UCLA. So I guess everything has a reason.
So for me, it was between UCLA, Howard, and UC San Diego. If you would have asked me the week before Admit Weekend at UCLA where I was going to UC San Diego because I had just came from Admit Weekend. I had some friends going there. Then I came to UCLA's admin weekend specifically for Black students, and it really changed my whole perspective about what UCLA has to offer me. The Black community seemed very tight-knit. There seems like there was something for me and for other people that I would want to be around. And I also got the most scholarships from UCLA. UC San Diego, I actually would have had to take out loans. UCLA, I had the amazing opportunity of being a Jackie Robinson scholar, which contributed so much to my financial aid. Eventually, it just seemed like UCLA was the right place for me. Howard gave me no money whatsoever, and I was paying out-of-state tuition. So I just made the choice to be a Bruin.
If I could add on to what Alex said, like the UCLA Black Admit Weekend experience, like was for surely the tipping point. You know, you get there, you're this like impressionable high school kid. You come here, you see like, you know, all the bells and whistles. Like the Black community came out, they showed out. You know what I'm saying? They made sure like all the students felt welcome. They showed you what you can do, what you're capable of. And although I went to both Admit Weekend experiences for like UCLA and Berkeley, I just feel like the UCLA Admit experience left such a good impression in me that I was like, I couldn't really see myself going anywhere else.
I'm gonna have to add on, and I'm gonna have to say I totally agree. It was almost a false reality because what I was told at Admit Weekend, I was kind of upset when I got to UCLA, but I'm just, you know.
Yeah, so that's another reason why we're making this video, so we can try to bring that experience to you all who didn't get that experience. Why I chose UCLA? Well, I actually did not choose to come to UCLA. I was admitted into USC. I was going to USC. No one could tell me different. I had a roommate at USC. I had a presidential scholarship for USC. They had to throw me out like twice to go visit the campus. I was going to USC, and basically my mom misread the financial aid, and she thought that what UCLA was giving me was what I would have to pay, which was $2,000. So yeah, that's kind of how I ended up at UCLA. Of course, we figured out that I'm definitely paying way more than $2,000, but I mean, everything happens for a reason. I'm way over it now, and I had a great experience. I think I couldn't see myself going to any other school, honestly. And I'm also a name person, so I wanted to go to a school where people would know the name. And you know, I like when I say UCLA, they sit up straight. They look at me, what? I love that. That is like top. Describe the Black community's culture. I would say our culture, it's not like one thing. You know, we're a diverse Black community. I would say a lot of the people are from the local area, if not from California, so there's not that many out-of-state students. And I wouldn't just try to say it's one thing, you know, because I feel like we can come together, but our little pockets.
I agree. And I feel like everyone's typically from LA, the IE, or the Bay, with a majority of people identifying with the Bay. Like the people from the Bay ride hard. My point is, y'all talking about the Bay, but y'all chose to come to LA. That's all I have to say. I think we come together when we really need to, but we don't come together as much as we should. We come together for all these events that we have. So like Admin Weekend, Black Bruin Transfer Extravaganza, the Nigerian Student Association Culture Show, NPHC is having a yard show. The community shows up and shows out. But when it comes to other things, the community can kind of be scattered, specifically like around retention or different things that maybe we should put more effort and impact into. We don't necessarily attend, but I could say the Black community loves to show up to be social, which that's not a bad thing because it's always fun, but we could show out better for each other when it comes to like retention or like social justice or different things like that.
Being Black UCLA, you want to like a pocket of 4% like the general campus.
And don't forget that a big portion of that are athletes.
Yeah. So like from that original 4%, you have like another like large chunk of that like separated by like, you know, like athletes and like non-student athletes. Being a student athlete at UCLA is a completely different lifestyle than like you wouldn't have been just a traditional student. Even that can like cause divides. Even if it's not intentional, like, you know, just like the differences in scheduling, like your practice, your commitments, like that's already like, you know, can decide like your experience. Like, see, I wasn't a student athlete. So like from a non-student athlete perspective, it's like UCLA as a general is a school full of like overachievers and people who think they're not doing as much. Like having that like pressure to always be doing more, like, you know, at the top, it's like the number one public school, like everyone has a research project. Everyone has like these amazing internship at like Google, Facebook, like you're meeting people that you've never even seen before. Like all that pressure combined, like just like for being a student, it's like immense. And then like being Black on top of that, it's like another, I wouldn't say burden, but like it's another set of pressures that other students don't have to face. Cause like, you know, you walk into a space, you're one of the only Black kids like in the thing. and navigating that's like, like Black people, like we usually have this tendency, kind of like what Alex said, like come together for like these really like, social events. Cause like, it's kind of like, we like to let off steam together, if that makes sense.
I'm the chairperson of the African Student Union. I didn't mention that before, but there's a perspective where what I see is like there's the part of the community that wants to be super involved and super engaged in everything Black at every event, at Black Wednesday, at GBM. But then there's a part of the community who doesn't necessarily want to be a part of those things. And both of those things are perfectly fine. It's just, it's more helpful when you're navigating a space where there's not a lot of people that look like you. Like Nate said, there's 4 to 5%. When we could come together more often, it's totally okay for you to not only be a part of this community and expand opportunities, because UCLA has such to offer.
So the next question is, was UCLA a culture shock for you? Why and why not?
Just being where I'm from, it was definitely a culture shock because I wasn't really used to growing up with people outside of like the demographic I was used to, which was like Black and Latino people pretty much. And then on top of that, going to UCLA, it kind of exposed me to a lot of just different types of people. I think that the Black community in itself is very diverse, different types of people to like network with and even build friendships with, or like long-term friendships. I think that like coming to UCLA, like I've been able to meet a lot of different people that I don't think I would have otherwise ever been able to like, develop friendships like further, like the way I have.
Oh, so for me, UCLA wasn't much of a culture shock, only because I am from LA and I'm really used to Westwood. My family is extremely diverse, and the community I'm around is pretty diverse as well. I can say though, UCLA does have a way of making sure you're 1% in the classroom. I was in a communications class, and I remember being like the only person of color, not just Black, but of color. I didn't see any brown folks. I didn't see anybody but me. And I was just looking around, and it did make me feel pretty insignificant and almost like kind of alone. So even though it wasn't a culture shock, you still get shocked in like certain settings, like a classroom setting. You still be shocked. And then like it's like I had nobody. It's like I tried to lean over and talk to this person, and they just kind of like standoffish, like, you're just not, you don't feel like you fit in, or you don't feel accepted. I mean, there's also like a lot of ways around that, thanks to like a lot of my Black friends at UCLA. Like we get through it together, we meet up, or I even had like really nice friends come sit in the class with me just to make me feel more comfortable. But I think that is a pretty important thing to touch on. Like you go into these classes of 500 or 200 to 500 people, and you can be the only Black person in that class, and it's actually crazy.
For me, I came from a pretty diverse high school. So for that, like I was exposed to many folks of different like racial and ethnic groups. So coming to UCLA, it was like, I was coming to like a PWI. It was very interesting because it was like, I was hoping I'd find like a good, still diverse group of friends. And I actually did. I think it was hard trying to find that set Black brewing community once I got here. And so within that, I was experiencing culture shock within the community of Black Bruins and also outside of it. So outside of it, I'm a biology major in my chem class, and my master's, being one of a handful of Black students, and within that, like one of 3 Black men, was very different. Like trying to find folks who could like really help me understand the material, like trying to like get up to par with where I felt everyone else was, and feeling like I was not feeling like I was compatible, or like I was competent enough to really be there, and having to question my own intentions and my own tracks and goals, but then having to like validate myself by trying to like build community outside of that, just with other classmates, and just it was like a bit of a battle, trying to really like break that social anxiety of things, and even like cultural anxiety, but having to make it work just so I could be able to be successful in the classroom. And then within the Black community as well, experiencing like student athletes, like how they come about themselves, and how they also like are mentor themselves on and off the field, on and off the court, trying to build those relationships. Folks who could trace like their ancestry back directly to an African nation, or like their parents are also from African nation, which I can experience as well. And then even like Black Greek life, like that was all completely new to me, and not really like being shocked at like how they administer themselves and like the events that they would put on. And then now I stand here as like a proud member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. So you just never know where you're gonna lead yourself, but you have to let that shock value push you to where you want to be as well.
Pros and cons of the UCLA party scene.
Yo, quick. All right, pros and cons of the party scene, right? I mean, it's an essential part of, college life, quote unquote. Pros, definitely like it's a way where you see the Black community really come together, and like this is where like you see the different aspects of the Black community, like folks from the Bay, LA. Even folks who are like, can dance, ways that folks like just turn up. Like it's a really good way to like see these different aspects. The only con though is like when 12 runs through Westwood, you're the first party shut down. If you can find a venue, because apartments be smaller than any, like my room probably as big as most parties I've been in. So, that's one thing.
The UCLA party scene, it's real estate. It really comes down to like matter of real estate, because like majority of like the people at UCLA who are throwing the parties like rent apartments. And so when you're renting apartments, there's a lot of like things you have to like to counter, because like like your apartment manager can shut the party down. Like police can shut your party down. You're in a crowded, limited space. You like like there's only so much you can do and so much people you can fit. And so like it makes like having parties like on campus, like like sometimes either hit or miss. There's been years where there have been a bunch of hits. There's been years where it's been straight misses. And like that also fades into like the politics as well, because like there's certain like regulatory rules that come out. Like there was one time we had like a blackout, and so like nobody was can throw parties. Like any party that shut up, like by 12 o'clock the party's getting rolled and like shut down. And so like that happens. And so like like not having a venue like can like sometimes like hamper some like the party, can hamper the party experience. And so like and then like sometimes that leads to like the party experience shifting from more like people throwing things to like event throw parties. And so those usually like have like a little bit of a budget, can get a venue, can like transport people to things. I know like a lot of like fraternities, for instance, like will have like special parties where like you might even get a party bus and go to this venue, or you might have a party in like one of the big halls on campus. The party seems very dynamic. It's like you kind of just have to be on top of it, because sometimes like like there'll be a party and like it's not supposed to go up, but for some reason it just starts jumping. And then another thing about like the party scene at UCLA, it's like once you've kind of like it takes about a year in my like if you go like really go hard for a year, you can do all the parties at UCLA, like and like but then like another thing is like you're also in LA. Everything's a hop and a skip and an Uber down the state. Like you feel me? You really just slide down Wilshire, you're in Beverly Hills, like 5 minutes. Another 10 minutes, you're in Hollywood. And there's so many things you can like really do, like kind of like outside of UCLA, which I feel like where you will have more fun. Like I'm just gonna be completely honest. Like UCLA is fun as a school, but like once you start to extend, like LA is one of the most populous cities in the world. There's something going on every day, like every day. Like you can really go to a club on a Tuesday and run into Drake. Like it happens. Like what I'm saying, these are the things. And so it's like the party scene at UCLA is like if you continue to constrict yourself to Westwood, you are subject to just like the politics of the land. But if you start to branch out and just hop in an Uber with 4 friends and split it, you can really have a 5-hour trip to like a mansion party and have like the time of your life.
If you all have been watching my vlog, follow me on Instagram, I stay going out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every day of the week. There's something to do. I would say the UCLA undergrad party scene, it's pretty lit my first year, but after a while you kind of get tired of the frats. After experiencing the club, I just kind of got bougie and wasn't really with the apartment scene. I wasn't really with getting sweaty and being afraid the police is going to shut it down. Like then once I became an RA, I was not trying to run into anybody at the party. So I was just like, yeah, no. But I have had some crazy nights in LA, and from going to LA parties, that's how I started being in music videos and like doing all this crazy stuff. And it's crazy. Just LA nightlife is lit on its own. But if you're college, I think it can be lit. I would just like to say, like, no matter where you go, it's really what you make it. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be the type of person that doesn't want to go out, you're going to say it's not lit, but you really have to make it fun. And even if you get to a party and it's lame, you and your little crew can make that party fun. Because let me tell you, we accidentally went to a high school party once and it turned out to be the best night ever. So yeah, Jordan's phone died, sorry. What is the dating scene like in the Black community?
What you talking about? What dating scene? What you talking about?
What?
I'm playing. Nah, I just haven't dapped into that myself. Oh shit, this is on the recording. Well, I'm already talking again. Look at that. So personally for myself, right, you gotta come in with a certain mindset about what kind of dating scene you're expecting, what kind of dating scene you want to foster. You know what I'm saying? It's like, as men, as Black men, you're coming in, like you're all gonna experience times when like, it could be dating, it could also be, there's aspects of fetishization. Like it's gonna happen, right? Like I'm gonna keep it 100, like there'll be times when folks will look at you as a Black person, Black man, and they're not really thinking of like the intimacy, like not really romance, but more like wanting to be in proximity to other parts of you, if you know what I'm saying. So you have to really acknowledge that is a factor, but also do not let that hamper your activity. Like definitely like if you come with the right respect, charm, and enthusiasm, like you could definitely get to know folks. It's okay to have friends. It's okay to have people like you want to hang around, like, you know, but definitely like if you want to date, like I personally have never dated anyone at UCLA, but there are people I would date, if that makes sense. So there are definitely beautiful, charming women, beautiful, charming Black women at UCLA. That's just my plug for that. But, you know, find who you want to be with. They're there somewhere.
So we talked about how the community is like 4 to 5%. So it makes it difficult for folks, especially if you want to date somebody else that's like, if you want to date within your race. So it's like one Black man to like 4 Black women. That's what it seems like. And it's hard to get in a relationship because a lot of people have the mindset that they're just, you know, trying to get through, be selfish, not really be tied down to anybody. So that's usually the culture. Are some people that in relationships, and most times, my experience, they started out in relationships as we were freshmen, and it just continued throughout, or, you know, kind of filtered off. But it's not really a heavy dating scene. Just it's more messy, if anything, because everybody be dating everybody. Like freshman year, people have been dating people, and then it changes junior year, and then it's really difficult because our community is small. A lot of people just don't want to date at UCLA at all, and I totally understand why. I never dated anyone at UCLA, so don't be messy is all I gotta say.
I'm gonna just say I haven't dipped my toes in that. I'm very far away from those scenes. However, though, I have a lot of friends that have, and all I can say is it's just real messy. I mean, if you can find somebody better outside of UCLA, probably just do that. Only because from what I've heard, even like outside person, I'm not gonna give anybody, you know, I'm not gonna put anybody's business out there. But I mean, literally gets messy. That's just it.
The thing about the UCLA like dating scene, it's a game of numbers, honestly, because like kind of like I touched on, like it's like it's one Black man to like maybe I think like 5 to 6 Black women. So like it's a disproportionate, like it's not an equal playing field like whatsoever. Since that like dynamic like 1 to 6, like it makes it very hard because like Black men are looked at as unicorns. Not only by like the Black community, but by like the community at large. Because like there's a lot of fetishization of like, like you're one of the few Black men on this campus at all. Like majority of the time, if you walk into any space, you're going to be the only one unless it's a Black event. And that's just like the way it goes. So like having like this small amount of like, Black men to Black women. And then on top of that, like, like, I'm just gonna be honest, like boys are the horniest in their life that ages like 18 to 19. And like, so just like you're coming into this space, you have no rules. You're on your own for the first time, you you like can do whatever you want. There's a plethora of beautiful Black women to choose from. It like so it can get really it will get messy. Like it's just bound to get messy. Like people think because like just because you leave high school that the high school politics and high school drama is going to like just disappear. It doesn't. Dating in UCLA also can get hard because like over time you develop like really like familial type bonds with some like like the other people. So like sometimes you don't even see people as like potential partners. You see more of like brothers and sisters. So like from like the pool of options you have, it goes down. And then every time you date or do anything within that pool, you knock out 5. I promise you, just knock out 5. Because like once you like date within or like talk to somebody in a friend group, the entire friend group has to go. And then like depending on how like that relationship went, like you could knock out from 5 to 25. But you can mess up, or you can do something toxic, or like you can do something like that gets you like a bad remark. You can end up in a group chat, and that is like every body's fear. Like when to find out you've been in a group chat and the subject of a group chat, that's just like your stock and rating numbers have plummeted. I personally haven't dated in the community. I've had like relationships, and like I've developed like some types of talk to people in the community. And like it hasn't been all terrible experiences. I just found more success like outside. I'm currently in a relationship, but like she does not go to UCLA.
The next question is, what helps you feel welcome at UCLA from resources, activities, relationships, clubs, organizations, etc.?
Okay, so for me, from freshman year, it has always been the African Student Union, which is why I'm the chairperson today, because as soon as I got on the campus and I went to the first GBM, I knew that this was something I wanted to be involved in. And I knew I wanted to help bring together Black people with the different events that they had. I liked that it was social, cultural, and political, and how it unified all those different aspects of the community. Like for those people who are interested in like pre-health or pre-law, but also for like Nigerian students, East African students, it had something for everybody. I can say ASU was a big home for me because I was on staff for 2 years. And then the academic supports program was a big resource for me because it offers peer support specifically for Black students for academic, social, and cultural things. They have peer counseling where you meet with a counselor like once a week. That's a student to talk about different issues you're having with class, life, anything really. They have a mentorship component that pairs underclassmen with upperclassmen, but also pairs undergraduate students with grad alumni. And then there's also an internship course that you can take as a freshman or a first year in general that helps introduce you to UCLA. So those two were really prominent in my UCLA experience. And Crows U. Yes, I went natural when I was a freshman, and I really had a hard time feeling confident with my hair. And me, Jordan, and a few friends like really took it on our back and like created something. I really want to shout out Jordan for helping create it and bringing it to campus because it really provided confidence in me for being natural. And I think it brought a lot of people together surrounding natural hair and just self in general. And also we had some good parties with us too. That's another. So we weren't just about natural hair, we had fun too. So yeah.
Curls U definitely helped a lot because I just remember my first year, everybody on the Curls U committee was just like, hey, you should join Curls U. And they were so friendly. Like that was probably like one of the only clubs that I probably was invested in. And I wasn't even invested as much as I should have been. But like that's the only thing that kind of just like I was like happy to go to. And like people were very inviting and friendly. Also too, like coming in as a freshman, I just had so many hair insecurities and they were just like, you know, teaching you about your hair, how to take care of your hair, and look at me now. You know, thanks to them, like giving me that push start. Also, I'm more like laid back. I kind of like I'm not as involved as everybody else. I would say I kind of just like do my own thing outside of school and then I like focus on school. So for me, it would have to be like having friends at UCLA. Like they really just keep me going, like check on me and everything.
And wait, Jordan, can you expand on how you met your friends?
Oh yeah, I met them through the
FSP?
weekend. I met them admit weekend.
FSP.
I met them,
Oh.
FSP. I met them at both actually. I did both. So yeah. Oh yeah, majority of my friends came from FSP. Like I did my like to go to FSP because everybody that didn't go to FSP, they're like, dang, I wish I would have went. And it's like, dang, I wish you would have went too.
I think that the African Student Union helped me out a lot too, especially when I was a freshman. I remember joining the African Student Union when I was a third quarter freshman year because I hadn't been involved in anything. I just wanted to have like find like more of a community and just like find like space on campus where I felt comfortable. I remember the African Student Union was really good for that. Even looking back on that now, like me joining the African Student Union inspired me to like change my major and like start getting more involved with other stuff within the realm of like doing still cultural political work. Anything like anything like you get involved in, you might like stumble upon like might develop in the future.
For me, and it was on the African diaspora floor, so that living in the community, like live in proximity to many of the Black Bruins. It was like definitely like I met a lot of people there. Like in my first introduction to the Black Bruin, not my first, but one of my first introductions, like they were really solid, and really like opening me up to the different aspects of the community. And then also like my own respective chapter, again was that chapter, like seeing like Black men who are like on these different facets and how Black male leadership like really expands itself on campus. Like definitely like seeking other Black men who are already in leadership roles and then trying to follow suit definitely helped me to like understand that I could do so much more and that there's no reason for me to stop myself. Like you could pursue what you want at UCLA with the right drive and initiative.
I just want to like add something in. It's like not kind of like what resources, but like how to get resources. Because at UCLA, like you'll very quickly understand like information is power. Because you'll see some students who are just finessing the system, living their best life. Like I was able to get a laptop like fully paid for, like MacBook Pro with Touch Bar and free beats. Just because like people told me what forms to fill out. Like understand. So like understanding like how to get to the resource, I feel like it's kind of more important than the actual resources themselves because there's so many different resources at UCLA, just even like Black community and outside the Black community. So I guess like for anybody like who decides to come here, group meets have so much valuable information because like it's just a hodgepodge of just like UCLA students and like it's not really a social media, but it is. So it's kind of like a social media where you just come together for the sole purpose of just being a group. So like, what I'm saying, like there'll be some times like I'll just have my notification on, those be telling me like free food. And so like I'll like literally just leave like wherever I'm going, like go get some free food. Like that's a lunch. You feel me? So like that's like really helpful. Flyers anywhere. Like if you see an event you're interested, just go, because like you'll meet people, you'll find out some really cool things. The career center. The career center I feel like is such an underutilized resource at UCLA. Like they will plug you with like literally jobs, backdoors, like all types of things beyond your wildest dream. Like the career center, I feel like it's something like we need to like should be pushed more, because like they're really there to help you like for your transition and like what to do like to keep you on track during the things, or like during like your years there. And then asking questions, like, you know, if you ask a question, like somebody will have the answer, and if you don't like the answer you get, you ask someone else. There's so many times like, you know, like we're just like the simple fact of like not taking like a no from an answer like will like lead you to finding an even better opportunity. So yeah.
I would say my community came from the weirdest places. Like my friend group, like I honestly initially didn't even like Alex, you know, so it was just weird. But outside of friend groups, as far as like succeeding at UCLA, ASP really helped me a lot. Shout out to Chanel. She was my ASP counselor. She helped me make my 4-year plan, got my life together, honey. That's why I'm graduating in 4 years, you know. Also, I think a lot of my community came from, you know, jobs that I had. I met like, you know, you meet some cool people at work. But I worked at the UCLA computer store and Covell dining hall. And I was also an RA, a resident assistant, for 2 years. And that was like a really cool experience. I also started a club, Curls U, and that was really fun. And that just showed me like how much support is behind everything that we all want to do. But I would say definitely piggybacking off of what Nate said, like just voicing yourself and being in those group me's, even though group me gets annoying, like every day I want to delete it because it's so much information, but that's a blessing, you know, to have so many resources and so much things around you. And that's part of the reason I decided to come to UCLA, because I knew, oh my gosh, if this school is number one, then this is like the best it's going to get. And I have everything that I could need at my fingertips. And it's really just all on you to go out there and get it.
I definitely didn't realize that when I first came. I didn't know how to utilize my resources, and I'm so glad that Nate brought that up, because I personally was struggling at UCLA only because I knew there were a lot of resources and I didn't know how to access them. And it's just simply because I didn't go out there. I didn't go looking for the answers. If I got to know, it's not like I took the no, but I just was just irritated because I got to know. So you just have to literally go find ways and go find your answer and figure, because there's literally a resource for everything. There's resource for free food, computers, like he said. There's a resource for free tutoring off campus. So you could find anything you could think of, housing, whatever.
Okay, I just want to plug one more thing, which is AAP and PLFs, because those help me get those A's, man. Like PLFs, y'all are God sent, okay? If you're taking a class and you are, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, but if you are a person of color or low income, or just, well, you were PLF, Alex. Can you just explain this?
Yes, I can. So the academic advancement program is specifically catered to low-income students and people of color to help navigate the UCLA community. It was created by like Black Latinx students. And so the peer learning facilitation portion is a portion of what they do, which is students that have already taken a class, specifically like lower division courses. They offer like 1-hour sessions once a week to go over material within the course and really help like explain things or make things more like better than the professor would explain it, specifically for our communities. They offer like resources that they use in their classes, and they also tell you to just advocate for yourself as well. I had an experience being a PLF for the freshman transfer summer program, and it's really a great way to get to know more people in your classes, but also just to like, it's better than lecture, it's better than discussion sometimes, because it's like students explaining what makes sense to students rather than a professor using all those professional jargon and confusing you even more.
Yes. Okay. Well, the last few questions and the video share what organizations you are a part of / your involvement. So it can be like a job or like, you know, your hobbies and things like that. And then tips for incoming students.
I'm involved in, I was a care extender. So I did volunteering in Ronald Reagan Medical Center, which is right next to UCLA's campus. First year resident assistant, and also I'm hired to work again for this next year. So I work in Res Life. Vice president of Afro Latinx Connection, a fairly new organization at UCLA's campus. I'm also a newest initiative, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, by way of Gamma Xi chapter. Yeah, some tips I would have would be to definitely, like, when you find resources, like, definitely distribute those resources to other folks. Like, I think a lot of the issues I found, like, when folks came across things, like, some folks had help when folks was able to give that help. So definitely, like, seek your resources and take that advice from others, but also pay it forward. Like, That's the biggest thing. Like, pay that forward because that's how our community thrives. But we can't be selfish and individualistic in this battle. We got to help the next person coming after us, right? And also just take care of yourself. Being a student leader is exhausting. It takes a lot of labor. So make sure you're doing your best to take care of yourself, eat, naps, and just find ways to have outlet from academics. Because if you're not putting yourself up first, you're not going to be in any capacity to really support anybody else at your campus or in your community. So please be good for yourself.
I am the chairperson of the African Student Union. I'm a UCLA McNair Scholar, and I'll be entering a PhD program at UCLA in political science in the fall. What else did I do? I was the vice president of Curls U, which was great. I was a peer counselor for the academic supports program. I was a library assistant at Powell Library, and then I was a office assistant for Hedrick Hall, which is a residential life building on campus. Yeah, I did a lot of things. And I'm a Jackie Robinson Scholar. That's another thing. If you're a high school senior, please apply. But some tips that I have, as you can see, I did a lot of things. I'd say, like, when you're a first year, don't turn down an opportunity because you don't think it's something that you can do. Go for the things, go for all you want to do, because there's so many opportunities at UCLA, so many opportunities in the world that can lead you to things that you never thought you would. I never thought I would be applying to a PhD program, but look at me, like, I'm starting a PhD program in the fall. And my second tip, similar to Jeremy, is take care of yourself and acknowledge that self-care is very important. I was the type of person who tried to ignore it and push through and keep going. Mental health is often a touchy topic, but like going and having a therapist, which is offered on campus, is important and sometimes necessary. And it's honestly something I didn't do until like my last weeks of college, and I regret not doing it. So take advantage of those resources as well.
I'm currently a VIPS Day 1 mentor, so I work at a high school, and I'm a scholar mentor. And I also work in an office. I'm a broom connector. We basically do like diversity and inclusion work, like on behalf of UCLA. We go out into different communities and like, make sure people are like different communities are educated about the stakes to be a competitive applicant. In the past, I've been involved with one of the student government offices on campus. Also with Alex, I was the secretary of appointments. So I like basically hired people to work on the academic senate and like basically collected data about what UCLA was doing in different committees and stuff like that. And also worked with Jordan at the computer store. I think that's how we met. As far as advice I would give for incoming freshmen is just that if you are not that type of person who really knows what you want to do yet, because I think for myself, like when I entered this environment, it was very difficult for me to even admit to myself that because I felt like everybody around me was so confident about their dreams and like their aspirations, and I kind of was I wasn't as like headstrong on what I wanted to do, and I eventually changed my path anyways, just to like take the time out to like really like explore what you want to do and like learn about what you like and what you don't like, because this is honestly what this time is designated in our lives for. Yeah, I did that and figured it out now, so that I was able to like change my major and start being on that track, doing stuff in the realm of what I want to do.
I've done everything in the sun, honestly. So I've been like, I make podcast hosts for UCLA Radio. I've done like, I've been on creative labs doing app development, app design. I was a peer mentor for VIPS. I worked off campus, which I'd highly recommend people like look into that, because like there's a lot of great opportunities in the surrounding areas, very like high rank like companies. And I've been in ASU, like various different like facets, and just like, I don't even want to go on about like everything. I guess like for tips for incoming students, like you'll only go as far as you like make yourself go. So push yourself, like literally push yourself, like try to put yourself in a position where the stakes are so high you either succeed or you fail. Put yourself in a position like where the stakes are so high you either like have to like rise to the occasion or fail trying. And so cause you'll be surprised on like how much stuff you can do. Like there's so many low budget things that like, or events that you have pulled off at the last, not even know how you're gonna get there, don't know where the vendors are coming from, where people are going to do, but you will find like in yourself like some like super like reserved abilities to do extraordinary things if you just like give yourself the opportunity to. And like, if you cheat yourself out of the opportunity, the only person that's gonna lose in the end is you, because you're not giving yourself to fully grow. And like kind of embrace the L's, like, what I'm saying? Like everybody here has like L's that they wish they never done. But like all those L's, like, accumulate into lessons that like, like give you some of like your most valuable like personal insights. So, like, don't be afraid of losing, like encourage it. And you kind of want to lose early on so you have time to like build up. Cause like sometimes if you like stay reserved and you start like, like trying to branch out and experimenter, like, like you might not find yourself in a very like, position or like very suitable or like very desirable position. Roll with the punches, but don't get beat. I would say, like, what I'm saying? Like, there's sometimes you're gonna have to go through some adversity, you're gonna have to go through some obstacles, some opposition. Like, it's gonna happen. Like, like just roll with the punches, what I'm saying? Like, don't be afraid of a challenge, but like also be very aware when like things start to become draining. So like you're not really getting punched anymore, you're kind of just getting jumped. Like there'll be times like your academics can jump you, your friends can jump you, like your relationship drama can jump you, like like things outside of like the school in general, like housing insecurities, job, like financial, family issues. Like there'll be times where like, you have like some like unspeakable horrors going on besides that aren't even like academic related, which will affect your like academic performance. So I'm saying, like roll with the punches, but like if there are something there's something that's like really draining you, like address that, like sit down, address it, go get therapy, go talk to your friends, do whatever you need to do to like I'm saying, make sure you're not getting beat up at the school. And being a Black student here, you're going to get beat up. But like if you can like avoid some unnecessary meetings, do it by all means. And last but not least, I would say like what thing has helped me very much is doing like try everything once. Just once. So there's so many different opportunities and experiences that you will like be like, oh my goodness, this is the greatest thing in the world. And like I was like almost not gonna do it. Like try everything once, like like go to a club, like go to the informational. Like you don't really lose much by going to informationals, and oftentimes they're fed. So like at the very least, I get free Chick-fil-A. So like it's a win-win. And so like, it's like do everything once. Don't really try to turn down opportunities. Like you'll be surprised. Like some of the most like outrageous people that you think you would never have anything in common with will be some of like the most like some of your closest friends. Like some, like some like at least some of the greatest experiences.
I wasn't as involved in UCLA, like I said before. I was a part of a few things. So I had a job at USAC doing catering, and which was horrible. But it served its purpose because I met a lot of people doing that. Also, too, I was very dedicated to my Bible study group, and I just kind of did that throughout UCLA, and I did participated a lot in a lot of clubs and a lot of Black community activities, events. But for me, I really struggled trying to find my purpose at UCLA. And so you don't have to, if you're like me and you don't feel like you are that type of person where you can get involved in everything, you don't have to feel pressure to be involved in anything. But it's just that don't be so closed-minded to it. At least still try and go do it, but don't feel like you have to do all these things, because there was one point I'm just like, everybody's doing all this stuff and I'm doing all my own things outside of school. Because I'm very passionate about my clothing line. I'm creating a hairline. So I'm always invested into things I'm doing outside of school. So it kind of takes me away from like getting that full college experience of like, having or being involved in clubs and communities. But the route I took, it's working for me. And also too, I want to touch on mental health. My biggest tip is just that don't feel pressure to do anything. Do what works for you. What works for somebody else will not work for you, because you are two different people. So also too, my biggest advice is you don't have to take advice from everybody. Everybody's advice is their own opinion. So just find what works for you. Because a lot of times people just tell me, you just have to get out there. You just have to get out there. And when I found myself doing that, I don't know why, but I was so drained. And for me, I'm the type of person where I like school, but it does get very draining for me. Reading and all this stuff, it's not, school is school. You don't always enjoy school. I'm just being real. Like I didn't always enjoy school. I struggle sometimes doing essays. I struggle sometimes reading. So I don't want to always go back to school and have another thing that I have to be involved in personally. So I kind of just try to go find my outlets outside of school, because it's like I'm in school all day. I go back to my dorm, it's still at school. So I have to find things that to do outside of it. And I was going through a lot of family issues, a lot of personal issues, and I was struggling with mental health that I didn't even realize I had. So I had anxiety and I was suffering from depression my first and second year, and no one would have ever known. It's not like it wasn't horrible, but like I would overthink a lot. I didn't really want to be around a lot of people. And I tried to go to CAPS, which is counseling. Really, therapy is really big. Please go to therapy if you need it. Like, even if you feel like you don't go and they miraculously might fix something. However, though, CAPS didn't work for me. I went to a therapist and they told me that I should drop out of UCLA. He didn't even care. He didn't even understand what I was going through. The first advice, or the first thing he told me was, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're going through this much." And I'm gonna just be real. A white man doesn't understand. 9 times out of 10 isn't even experiencing half the things you're going through, and they don't experience. I'm not gonna try to discredit everybody's experience, but him in particular may not have experienced anything that I've experienced. He may not even experience anything in his life. So for him, what I was going through was impossible to fight through. Like Nate said, you really just have to roll with the punches. Don't let anything knock you down, because I could see myself right now not being a dropout at UCLA, and I know it's like, what the heck, but things can suck you. Things can suck you. I had a best friend. It's just I went through a lot. Okay, so I have to work on my mental health, and I have to do what works for me. And I'm here, and I'm doing better. But yeah. So my biggest tip is just focus on you and do what works for you. Don't feel pressure to do anything, but also to be very open-minded. This is a new space. You don't have your mom and your dad in here. Do anything you want to do. Adventure out.
Okay, thank you, Jordan. Okay, my involvements are I'm a RA, so resident assistant. I can share that now. I didn't share that before on my channel because, people be creepers. But yeah, I was a resident assistant for 2 years, and I also started a club. So I started Crows U. I was president of that, started with my friends. Okay, I look a little different because I was just editing the video, but I forgot to say that I was also Fiscal Director for African Education Project, AEP, which is a great organization. We go out to Compton every weekend and mentor young kids. And I worked at the computer store. Anyways, back to my advice, I would echo everything that everyone else already said, but also some things I came up with were to focus. It's okay to be involved, but I would say focus on the bigger picture. So why you came to UCLA, whether that's, I knew before I started that I wanted to be going to law school. And, you kind of forget that in those dark moments where you just, goodness, I'm failing this quiz. Just the little things, don't let the small stuff get to you and focus on the bigger picture, because it's so easy to get sucked up in these clubs. I was giving so much to these organizations, and no offense, but at the end of the day, they weren't really giving shit to me. And I needed to be like, okay, I need to just step away from this and study for my LSAT, or I need to step away from this and focus on my applications, or just focus on myself. Because you come first at the end of the day. And it's okay to be a servant to your community, but you can't fill someone else's cup if your cup is not full, okay? Also I know this is kind of triggering during this whole time, but to travel as much as you can. And that can be however you want it to be, but I would just say to travel, even if that's just going to the beach. I didn't even go to Disneyland the whole time I was at UCLA. And I feel like I had tickets, and of course, Rona hit, but I just, that's one of my things. Travel as much as you can if you are permitted to. And if you can't, or you think that you can't, ask someone about it, because you can help someone pay for it if that's your issue. You can have someone help you pay for it, have someone help you get your forms together. But yeah, other than that, everything everyone else said about taking care of yourself, that's definitely important.
Yeah, this kind of like dawned on me. UCLA is like the Disneyland of college. Like, from the moment you step on, it's just like this grandeur place. You look at things, everybody's living their wildest dreams when everything is like, it's kind of like Disneyland. Like, you got to the point, like, when all the birds and stuff came, you can literally walk up, like, point your phone at anything, and like now you're riding like some type of vehicle, just like to your heart's content. So that being said, it's like you can like honestly there is really no at UCLA. Like, there's within reason, like there's almost no. Like, if someone, like, you can do almost anything. I've seen people jumpstart careers. Like, some people have jumpstarted their music career. Like, people have become filmmakers. People have like put out so many things. So many different like resources at your availability. Like, you kind of like whatever you have in the back of your head, there is a way to get it. I promise you that. So just like, first of all, start off by asking, but like whatever that's like that little idea, that little fire in your head, don't suppress it like at all. Like, I promise you, if you like find the right resources, like that idea will flourish.
Okay, well, thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. Feel free to leave comments and questions down below, and you can ask any of us anything. All right, but yeah, everyone stay safe. Thank y'all for watching this, and see you in the next video.